Hello, welcome to Soccer Yanks, where we're here to bring you the beautiful game from the American perspective. I'm your co-host, Dave.
And I am your other co-host, Dan, and we are today in the belly of the beast, the mecca of American soccer. We are in my basement in New Jersey.
It's a cauldron.
It's the cauldron of soccer in America. It all starts here, kids. It starts here. There's a little goal over there. There's a foosball table. That's where it starts.
Moving on. Big fun week if you're a Newcastle fan.
Well, they didn't lose.
Oh, they won very a nice way against the Spurs. Well, I think it was a very nice Spurs loss as well. And today in the Capital One Cup, they beat City. But we're here to talk about Spurs and Newcastle.
Very quickly, does anyone ever feel bad when the Spurs lose?
No. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy for me.
I don't know. I feel like they're a team that's very easily despised. I don't know why. I obviously I come from a very different angle. I come from an Arsenal side where that's par for the course. But I kind of feel like when they lose, people kind of chuckle.
Yeah, they're like that cousin that always messes up. You're just like, oh well.
They did it again.
Love them. They're the lovable losers-ish. Not really lovable, but you're right. They're kind of lovable. I don't hate them when they lose. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm so happy Spurs lost. It's
okay.
It's like an expectation, and they fulfilled it.
I'm
happy that I was right. How's that sound?
It's one of those certainties in life. It's like setting your watch.
Sunrises and sunsets are probably.
I kid. Did you hear though that Pochettino has been blaming the size of the pitch because White Hart Lane and a few other, I think Britannia and Loftus Road, they're all kind of small. They're like just big enough for, I believe. I don't know the details, but I believe they're just big enough for pros.
Well, some of the smaller market clubs would say it's not the size of the pitch; it's how you use it.
Yes.
No experience there. I'm just saying. That's the rhetoric. I laced a good joke in there for those who didn't pay attention.
So, Pardue, fighting spirit, has been introduced into this club, I think, a little bit. A little bit of the us against them.
Pardoes is more like it. Part did it this weekend. Newcastle looked average first half. I watched the whole game. Spurs were opening them up. They just couldn't finish. Spurs couldn't finish. That was the way it was, except for the one goal. Mm-hmm. And second half adjustment out of the gate. Boom! It was a whole nother team firing on all eight cylinders, running in between, making stupefying the Tottenham defense, and they pulled it off, and it was insane to watch. I was excited.
What do you think? What do you think Alan Pardue did at the midway talk? Do you think he dropped his pants and he's like, "You guys are getting pounced out there"?
Do you know what? I think it might have been. I don't think it was Pardue. I think I think it was somebody on the bench. Pardue's gotten a lot of the blame, and I think there's a lot of it is from injuries and their lack of performance of the players that are available. And they put on these young guys, and I think somebody said, listen, we're not going to let this man lose his job. There's nothing wrong with us. We can do this. And they went out and
He's not going to go down because we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
We're better than this. And I think that's what happened. I don't think Pardue had to say anything. I think and that's the way they looked like they played with conviction. That was the difference. They had drive. I think it was a self-motivated thing. I think it showed again this in this Capital One. I know it's Capital One Cup game, but today
they beat City.
In a very early and then late early goal, held on to it.
They grabbed another one to kind of seal it off.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
At the top of the table, still,
the fine pundits.
Southampton is just just looking down at the other 18 clubs below them and just, ha ha. I don't even know what to say at this point.
look at the
okay,
payroll.
I was really wrong.
Look at the payroll of 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. I mean, if you were to look at that, just look at the top 4 and say, hey, by Halloween, that's what the top 4 is going to look
Yeah,
like.
you see the 2 richest clubs and
As Southampton, the gutted club, and West Ham, the bubble team of the last 5 years.
But West Ham spends money just usually poorly.
They're putting it together.
Finally.
I don't know. I can't, obviously, at this point, who could say where they're going to end up, but to keep up their performance.
Well,
if they beat the average teams and the lower teams,
I believe it's a foregone conclusion that they will be in the top half.
yeah.
I think we can safely say that
they're
this
safe for
Southampton
relegation.
team will stay in the top half. Can they stay at this level? Are they deep enough? Do they have guys that are going to? The fortunate thing is that
They don't have a Europe.
they don't have Europe, but they do. I believe, my memory. I don't know if they played today or they played yesterday. I don't know the results of their performance in the Capital One Cup, but they were still in it. Well, I guess what I'm getting at is it's regardless, right? Premier League is a long season. You get that stretch towards the beginning of the year, the end, Boxing Day to New Year's Day. You squeeze in like 15 matches in 7 days, like
The dog days.
right. So, is the team? That's where we're going to really know, right? We're going to really know, is a team deep enough, or better yet, if they could stay fatigue free and injury free long enough.
I think the best remedy for both of those is the fact that they have one of the best youth systems of the past 10 years or so, development-wise. So I'm not saying anybody off the top of my head that I know of can step up, but you never know who you can roll the dice.
It's Southampton's job to give me the names eventually. It's not my.
It's going to start with an L, I think.
It's not. It's not my job to know who's coming up through their ranks. It's my job to know how much they're going to be worth.
Are they going to be less than £10 million? Or are they going to be more than £10 million? Anyway, I'm happy with this story. This is one of the best stories, I think. Feel good.
Pele, striker, I think he's got 7.
He's on a torrid pace.
7, I think. Only passed by Aguero and my man Costa. I think, and they have 9, I believe, each. And then it's Pele, and then Berarino, I think, has also 7, maybe 6.
I like this story, though.
Oh, okay. Let's talk. We're sticking with the top 4. Sticking with only the big clubs. West Ham beat Manchester City.
What a game.
You know what?
Blowing bubbles. Bubbles must have been a lucky guy.
Great. Sam Allardyce has been accused of many things. He has never been accused of playing beautiful football. But there is something, and I don't know if it's because of the player. Maybe he never had the right players. Maybe he's always had this certain mentality to have a certain breed of player. And now he's, when they signed Enner Valencia in the summertime, we were talking about the transfers. I was like, he has no idea what he signed up for. He thinks he's going to go play for a Premier League team, and he's going to be used to playing some sort of South American style. No, you better get used to medieval football, over the top, brute force. But that's really not. They're not really playing. I mean, it's not 100%, but I mean, they're playing like this great counterattacking ball. I mean, it was impressive to watch.
With stout defense.
Yes, with a stout defense, but it was impressive to watch. Sacco and another breakout striker, Sacco and Enner Valencia attacking Manchester City, like just going at them.
They had the one shining light was Silva's goal. That was beautiful.
Yes,
brilliance.
I thought he was going to pull them back into the game. I thought that was. This is it.
That was like that final day against QPR a couple years ago. One of those moments.
They're gonna find a way. They're gonna find a way.
Yeah. The momentum shift, but
never happened.
They held their ground.
Never happened.
And the crowd, I think that those supporters, I mean, they were rocking. They're having a great time.
You know how
Sam Allardyce. I've never seen him so happy.
You know how massive that victory was?
Huge. They'll never forget that.
Russell Brand is doing heroin again.
And he just joined Fox News as a contributor.
Did he really?
No.
Damn, that would have been great.
That would have been amazing.
No, I joke. I hope the guy is not doing heroin.
Yeah, no. Best of luck in his recovery. Every day is battle.
Every day is a battle. But no, man, West Ham, it almost feels like everyone is caught up a bit in the Premier League. Meaning, new TV deal. Everyone's got a little bit of a fatter pocket. Everyone's kind of keen to the, you know what, the top teams, even though they have huge payrolls, they have the same kind of roster issues, injury issues. Like, we could go at them.
It's not, for a lower team, they're not looking at a mountain range, they're looking at a rolling hill.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as a severe climb, or it's difficult every day, but the field is more even.
I mean, not to take anything away from what I still do believe is probably a two horse race. I still do think it's going to be City Chelsea at the end, battling it out. And I think that is the peak there is still very steep, and I think it's very difficult for even Arsenal, United, Liverpool, the traditional big clubs to get there. I believe so, but for a chance to get into those European spots, it may not be attainable every single year for the likes of Southampton and West Ham or Liverpool, but it is something that can be achieved on the every third year on a 3-year cycle. They can do a serious push. Whereas before, it kind of felt like there was a steel wall. The top 5 clubs, 6 clubs. It kind of changed with Manchester City becoming prominent again, because even before that, it was like a solid 4.
Yeah, it was United, Chelsea in the 2000s at least. United, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool.
Right.
And Tottenham would always flip-flop, but usually end up flipping.
So now it feels like, there's a wall there, but we've got a ladder. There's
an ebb and flow.
Yes, there's a lot more movement now between those places.
The shuffling is great. The mid-table shuffling, and then somebody gains momentum, and then they're up top, closer to number 4. Best league in the world. We say it every week. I don't care what anyone says.
Okay, let's get to what you really want to talk about.
United, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the best draw I ever watched in my life.
Well, when you score a goal that late, it feels like a win, right?
Yeah.
It feels like an achievement. It feels like you cheated. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It feels like you. Maybe if I cut myself off, maybe you cheated death. Like you were this close to getting nothing.
And they deserve something, the way they played.
And bang, I got something.
This was the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson era that I saw United play as a cohesive team. They had a rhythm, even though they still have injuries. Most of their left side is still out, and half their defenders. And Fellaini stepped up, was able to control Matic and Cesc, kept them out of the box. I saw some clips of Fellaini. He just shoved everybody who was coming up the middle out to the side of the box. Everybody got pushed out. It was all over him manhandling him.
A team that fouls together stays together? I believe, because I went back and I watched it, I feel like it was a very rough United performance.
Oh, I saw headlock accusations. And there was also...
It was a double headlock. It was a tag team move.
And before the Rojo got headlocked, he was headlocked by Terry.
I'm not saying that didn't happen.
It was defensive. And I think that got under skin. I think that's what happened. The second headlock happened as a result of that. I think it was a retaliation. There was a lot of chippiness.
It was very chippy. And I think United did...
That put them off their game.
I think United did... I mean, look, it seems to be...
The Gea save on Hazard. The
one-on-one. That should have been a goal from Hazard. He's going to be... De Gea, the fact that he got a hand on that ball, because Hazard has to be, I think, the best player in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm. Sensational. Every time he touches the ball, something happens.
I guess perhaps the best player. Maybe that's whatever. That's such a argumentative statement. Perhaps with the ball at his feet, one-on-one.
I don't want to take a piss when he has the ball.
Yeah, because you're going to miss something.
You're going to miss something amazing.
You're going to miss something.
Even if it's a back heel flick or some sort of shoulder dip, he's going to do something that's going to take somebody out of their shoes or get somebody out of their seat.
De Gea had a great game. I found that United did a very good job of stifling creation. And United really should shoot themselves in the foot because their covering on the corner was the goal they let up. They had Raphael on Drogba. They didn't have him on any other corner. They had 4 or 5 corners. It was Fellaini, I believe, on him most of the time. And they had Raphael on him on the one. I'm not saying that if they had the ball, the way that goal was scored, I'm not sure that you would have even had a defender get a chance to stop that.
He's in a tough spot.
Right. But at least you have someone of equal size that might be able to tussle.
A marker. At least get half an inch of his throw
I think
on it.
that didn't help them. And then on the opposite side of that, I think Mourinho also shot himself in the foot. Because he brought in Mikel, and usually brings in Mikel to basically lock it up.
Shut down.
Right? He brought him in really early. It was late 60s, early 70s. I mean, usually you think he brings him in with 15, the earliest usually 15 minutes left. Then he brings him in, lock the game up. And I think adding Mikel to the field early put a sense of fear into Chelsea because they go, why is he on the field so early? From the other players, why is he on the field so early?
Almost like a trigger in their mind,
because it's
are we supposed to be shutting it down now?
Exactly, like Pavlov's dogs. Like when we see Mikel,
plus
lock up shop.
I'm sure they all know that's what, on the training field, that's what he's known to, as his role, so that's their system that they're going to naturally, mentally...
Yeah, Mourinho doesn't want people to... He wants people to do specifically what he wants them to do.
Roles.
Yes. There's no Arsene Wenger and Mourinho. There's not an ounce of it. There's no be creative and go be an artist and express yourself. There's none of that.
So whoever the midfielder is going forward and he has somebody on his left, on his right, he knows that there's nobody behind him because he's all the way back there holding back, waiting for the thing. So if his lanes are cut off, he's just got to stop and hold it. And that's when Fellaini, all Fellaini needs with 2 seconds is his legs. They're giant. I'm losing...
Stilts.
He's on stilts.
So I think that gave United a good momentum. What do you think about the red card? Or the second yellow? Soft. Very soft. Perhaps a foul, but a yellow. And I don't know if that yellow was an accumulation thing, but the game was so... I mean, this is the... I hate when we bring up officiating and a consistency, but that's the problem. It's the lack of consistency amongst officials and even amongst one official throughout one match.
Yeah.
Where, I heard this on a different podcast. It seems like some refs, and it was always, of course, this is used it was on an Arsenal podcast. Some refs basically go, on the 7th foul, regardless of who commits it, I will brandish a yellow. So Chelsea fouls 6 times. Arsenal first foul, yellow.
It's almost like a quota.
It's almost like musical chairs. Like if you happen to be on the the
unlucky 7.
7, 14, 21, you're gonna get it just happens to be. Look, I don't.
What? I'm going with prime numbers today.
I don't want to show you the yellow, but unfortunately, the scheme today is I have to.
It's on the whiteboard.
But obviously, that's all bullshit, right? But the reason why people think these things up is because we're searching for a consistency because the refs it's a grueling and awful job, I am sure, because no matter what, there will be a party that probably will hate you if you make a mistake, right? You're always on this line. You're like, if I make a mistake, there's a lot of people who are going to hate me. So there's a lot of pressure there, but it's just, and maybe it's because we need to be, they need to be mic'd up. We need to be hearing the players. Maybe there's something going on in the field. Maybe there's a lot of chippiness and chirpiness and barking at the ref where he's like, you know what, I'm not going to take your crap anymore.
I really, really want, within the next 5 to 10 years, every official across every sports league, everywhere, not be mic'd up, just a camera.
GoPro.
Just not even just like a lapel, like a GoPro, but not as big as both.
No, like put on his chest, like across his chest.
There will be some company that can be able to make some little something that
the size of a button.
Nobody will ever see it. You won't feel a difference in it. Just so you can get that perspective from what he saw.
Well, I think Major League Soccer did that for one match this year.
The All-Star game.
Was it the All-Star game?
I think it was like last year's All-Star game, or maybe it was this year.
Whatever, but they did do that. I think it was this All-Star game, just so you could see. But that would drive me even more nuts. Where he calls a foul and you're like, "There's no way he could have saw that."
Or the fouls that he's going off a linesman. That would be cool too. See what the linesman saw.
The line? But I think we've talked about this on the podcast, and I think it was one of the English newspapers online had a little a test, an offsides test, and they would show you a video real quick, and then they would be like, they'd stop it, and they'd be like, "Was that offsides or not?" And you have to give like a quick decision, and it's difficult. It was like difficult. Sometimes it was really easy. Sometimes you were like, "Oh man." And you'd be like,
it was like a linesman challenge.
It's a linesman. Yes. Are you as good as a linesman? So I could see, even with video replay, if a human's got to do it split second, they could get it wrong. I guess the real question that we're leading to, and we kind of always are constantly going back and forth, how much technology should be in the game?
I like where it is right now. I think a good example of too much technology in the game now is the MLB. They're going through a really weird transition because there's a lot of tradition and convention. There are conventional rules and actual rules that are getting overstepped.
Okay, yeah,
and there's a lot of
unspoken in the game rules,
and it's like the whole colliding with the catcher at the plate. For people who aren't familiar with baseball, when you're running in and there's a play at the plate, you could throw it, and the catcher has to hold the ball and barrel through somebody, or the runner can barrel through him and try to dislodge the ball.
Well, they've removed that from the game, haven't they?
They removed it from the game, but now there's a different rule where the catcher, if they're standing in a certain position now, are technically blocking the plate or preventing something from happening, or flow of the runner, and that runner can automatically score a run now without challenge. It's obscure rules they get.
They're getting amplified because of
unnecessary issues and games that are lost and won off these
technicalities
from technology being added. So it's a fine line. So far, goal line technology, I love it. Magic spray, even when it goes wrong, the only thing that goes wrong, it goes off on a ref's ass. It's hilarious. Do you know what I mean? So far, those are the last two that have been.
But would you be completely against a challenge?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah, because it goes against the entire free-flowing nature of... Like, I understand set pieces and injury time transitions and stuff like that, and I know there's added time, but nah.
What about extra eyes? Better communication in between the officials.
Like another official?
What is wrong with there being an official...
In a booth?
In a booth.
That I agree with. Like they do in the NHL.
And they
do a callback. They say, hey, was that... Well, they used to do it for goals. Now they don't need it for goal line technology, but they can... Retrospective penalties, stuff like that. Yeah,
I don't know.
I think an extra booth official would be cool.
So...
Sorry, we're really getting off.
So we went...
On a tangent.
We were somewhere near Jupiter.
Yeah.
Ivanovic gets sent off. Immediately from that free kick...
It was a free kick regardless.
It was a free kick regardless. However...
They lost the man.
They lost the man. And
a defender.
And a very damn good defender. Even if you don't like him. He's...
Especially on a set piece. He's a big body.
He's a big boy, right? So...
But before that, saying definitely it was a soft. I don't think it deserved... It wasn't a red card offense, but he was already on the yellow, and there was a couple of instances.
Yeah, but it was very soft. I mean, I could see it not even being called.
The timing of it.
Di Maria basically took a couple of steps and fell down.
Well, he got clipped on the back.
Yeah, but it did. But you know, this is a subjectivity. Did Ivanovic go to clip him, or did they get tangled? I'm not saying. I don't know. Knowing Ivanovic, he went to clip him. But knowing Di Maria, he could have stayed on his feet. So,
regardless, it was an amazing point. I'm happy. I think United have They proved to themselves that I think they got the monkey off their back. They have an identity in their philosophy.
Very stupid. Throwing your jersey in the crowd is very stupid.
Stupid.
Robin should know better.
He should.
Yeah, he yelled at him. He said it was stupid.
I agree.
And then Robin said, "You just get really excited with the fans that that know you for a couple of years and really love you."
But yeah, no, I'm excited. Another great game this weekend.
I think the Chelsea game. I'm still not sold. I think it was a great performance from Manchester United, morally boosting. I think if they could do it 2 weeks in a row and pull something off against City, we could start talking about United getting back to United's ways.
A lot of people are starting to get healthy now. A lot of people are getting injured again. Smalling got injured. Jones got injured.
How do you feel about Rooney not playing? I mean, it was a suspension.
It was a suspension. It's a different. I think, and Herrera was out too. That was the other thing. Herrera was a big part of that catalyst that links the. He's not really a box to box. He's a deep lying attacking midfielder. Does that make sense? He doesn't defend, but he sits on the circle, on the back half of the circle.
That does not make sense to me. I'm sorry.
He doesn't defend, but he's always behind everybody. He's a distributor, I guess.
He's a referee.
He stands in the circle. He's like what Paul Scholes used to do.
Okay.
Nowhere near Paul Scholes. Don't even try to think I'm making that comparison.
Positionally,
he stands in the circle, and his dictation of the ball and balance, he could see the field and very well from that position. And the games that he played, his distribution was fantastic. And
I think he likes to make the late runs too. He does like to make late runs into the box.
Yeah, but he'll work it from there. So he'll work from the back line to the front. So he was that transition player that we hadn't had since Scholes left, who could link from the front to the back. And Blind is starting to turn on. His confidence. He scored that game, the game winner, 2 weeks ago, and his distribution's been fantastic. It's looking up. I'm happy. I'm happy with the direction. I like LVG. I like his impression he's putting on the lads.
I like that he looks like a giant thumb. Makes me laugh.
I love the David Lynch haircut. He looks
like the bottom end of a thumb with hair on the top. He's got a very long face. It makes me chuckle.
I thought there wouldn't be anyone in the BPL with more swag than Mourinho.
No, I don't think so. No,
because he's got old man swag. He's got old man swag.
LVG is pretending to not be a dork. He's up there with his notepad. He's got his trapper keeper on the sideline.
He gives you the.
I'm sure he's got a little.
I got this.
He's got a little pouch with a zipper with his colored pencils in it.
He's got the original trapper. And a little pencil sharpener.
Yeah.
With a unicorn.
And he's like, red is for RVP, blue is for Smalling.
Philosophy. So, what'd you think about the Gooners this weekend?
They won. Alexis Sanchez put the team on his back a little bit and took advantage of some really, really knucklehead mistakes from Sunderland. This game should have been a draw.
You know what I think it was? It's a combination of his nipples and his thighs. They were hypnotized. Sunderland. You never noticed that?
Oh, the shorts?
The shorts.
Yeah.
He pulls them all the way
He's
up
got an
his balls.
OCD thing about that.
What is that?
I don't know. He just wants everyone to see his package.
It's nuts.
He wants... Yeah, it's nuts. It's very fucking nuts. It's nuts everywhere. No, I think it was Agent Manoni, former Arsenal goalkeeper. The second goal, he got the ball passed back to him like 3 feet away from Sanchez, and he's going to. I think he's lining up to kick it with his left foot, and he missteps and he jabs it with his right, and he goes nowhere, and Sanchez just nails it. A draw would have been a fair result, honestly. But the one thing that I can say, and I guess, and I don't think it's luck. I really don't think it's because it's one thing if like they're lucking their way into wins. I think they're just grinding, and they're getting a lot of draws, and they're getting They've got a couple of wins. They've only got one loss in the season. There's only one team that's got a better loss record. It's only Chelsea has 0. So it's not horrible.
No, for the injuries, for where they are with injuries, for the position.
That's I think
they're in 5th place.
Yeah, I know. I think but if you listen to the pundits, if you listen to Twitter, they're in 17th. It's just so miserable.
They're 5 points out of 2nd place.
Yeah, I understand. And I think we also have especially I think Arsenal fans over the course of the last 10, 15 years, you look back at history, and we had some phenomenal years, but I think even when we were living through the phenomenal years, they were not phenomenal. I don't think you can claim something is phenomenal until after it has occurred, and you can look back and you can go, "Oh wow!"
And you
can you imagine
not living in the moment,
right?
Yeah.
And the same thing can be said also, I think, a little bit about Arsene Wenger, right? During that period of time when Highbury closed and Emirates opened, and it was just this steady sell our best player, just compete, just stay in Champions League, and he was getting lambasted by everyone. He doesn't spend, he doesn't do this, it's his old ways, he's dithering, all these other things. And now with hindsight, it might be the greatest managerial performance ever to keep a team afloat with those kind of financial restrictions and compete with some of the biggest clubs in the world. But at the time, no one could see that. At the time, it was just Wenger doesn't know what he's doing.
No, Piers Morgan.
Yeah, that too. But there's still some transition now from being a team that lives with restrictions to being a team that's going to accumulate one superstar a summer. Because I think that's the level that they're going to be at. They're not going to be able to get 3-4 guys a summer that are all 30, 40 mil. But they're going to be able to probably grab, between a $20 and $30 million guy every summer going forward. And that is a big deal. And over the course of 4 or 5 years, you have accumulated a very nice squad. And I think that's where we're heading at. So that's long term. In the short term, I'm not worried about this.
Before they start signing players, though,
yeah,
they got to get that physio from Chelsea. Or just some sort of German biomedical.
Do you know where her buyout clause is?
It's got to be incredible.
Abramovich wants a firstborn for her.
But seriously, though, they definitely have to address the medical staff or training or there's something systemic. There can't be that many.
The reasonable minds. It's not. Yes, there was something systemic, for sure, and they have made progress on that. If you look at the string of injuries that we have right now, over half of them are really, honest to God, oh shit, that just sucks.
Freak stuff.
Debussy. What, clearing a ball goes down. It's just it's just that kind of stuff. I think they're getting better. I think it's all getting better. My one fear is the confidence of the team. I'm not sure if Wenger is motivating these guys. That's the one thing that when I watch the matches, I'm not sure if they're lost because they don't know what Wenger wants them to do with this new system, or they don't care. I couldn't tell you for sure because I'm not a fly on the wall. But sometimes I get the feeling that they don't have the confidence, they don't have the winning mentality, and I think that comes from. I'm not saying that Wenger doesn't have a winning mentality, but he's not getting it out of his players, perhaps. I'm not that worried yet. I think
they got Burnley coming in this weekend. They'll be good.
The next 4 weeks is a nice run. Nice run.
I don't think there's much Europe going on either.
We got Anderlecht in a week, I think.
Oh, that is next week. I thought we had another week.
Maybe 2 weeks.
I think you're right. But yeah, no, that was a pretty good weekend overall.
Yeah. You want to talk about Liverpool and their woes?
Oh yeah, I forgot about them.
No, you didn't. Don't lie. Don't lie.
No, but Super Mario needs to eat a flower and start spitting fire.
Or he needs to just go on a mushroom trip and melt that ego.
Find himself.
He needs to have a mushroom. I just don't know which one.
He doesn't like playing by himself. He needs another partner.
He needs someone to lure the defense away from him.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the pressure.
Yeah.
Although I think, again, we're not really talking Capital One Cup, but I believe yesterday He came in late
on the bench, off the bench. Yeah,
and he had some heroics.
He's doing stuff. I think it was his first in seven matches.
He's already had one. I think it's his second goal for Liverpool.
Second for Liverpool. One in the league, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, the midfielders, they don't have the talent, the striking talent in their midfielders to be able to compensate for his lack of performance. And if they don't have another striker to play with them or to sub in,
so you got Lambert.
Exactly. I mean, where's
Borini?
That
he's a guy that just doesn't perform. He performs everywhere except for Liverpool.
Exactly. So I don't know what their offense is. I don't think they know what their offense is. For the last 2 years, it was that fast, quick counterattack.
It was that press a team to death in the first 15, 20 minutes, score a goal or two, and then ride it out.
And you had Luis Suarez. That was.
And then if you were in a dire game, hopefully Luis Suarez scores something for you in the last 15.
Yeah, he'll take a bite out of a game, and
you're never going to stop.
That'll never go away. And Sturridge is out. I'm sure once he comes back, Sterling has been fantastic, but he's getting burnt out already. It's October. He had to sit out for England.
Give him some HGH.
No, but I'm just.
Put him in cryotherapy or cryotherapy.
Hypobaric chamber.
Put him in a
placenta wraps.
Something like that. Dragon Ball Z him. All right.
But yeah, I don't see moving forward. I don't know how they're going to break the top four. Or how they're even going to stay in Europe if they continue playing in cups as well. They're going to get.
Well, they're going to. I mean, they still have a chance in Champions League to get out of the group, but I believe that they're not going to.
Yeah.
I deep down, I believe that they don't have it, and I almost feel like Brendan Rodgers. I mean, let's imagine. I see. I think sometimes, some managers, the manager of my club thinks that they have to. They worry about the match in front of them only, and I think other managers are a little bit keener than that, or maybe let's not say keener. Maybe they're not worried.
Picture.
Maybe they're not worried about the fans in the stadium. Right? Let's be honest, because that's what it boils down to. Some managers want to provide beautiful football. They want to always put out the best product they can. Other managers are thinking about long term, next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Would it be within the realm of possibility that Brendan Rodgers says, "F the Champions League. This is not working for us. We got in. Okay, we'll fight to get back in. Because what's the point of fighting two battles and losing both? Let's fight one battle and maybe win the war." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Is it? But I'm not saying that he's doing that. No. But isn't it within the realm of possibility that that's what he's going to do?
It could be, but philosophically, if you were doing it for the fans, wouldn't Champions League night be
Well, I don't think Brendan Rodgers is doing it for the fans.
Oh,
he's pulling a page out of Mourinho's.
Okay.
He's pulling a page out of Mourinho's book and going, what's best for the long term? What's best for the long term? Just get a draw here. Don't injure anybody. We got to worry about this. That's why. No. For the fans, it's staying in Europe as long as you can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You got to pull a Chelsea under Di Matteo. Win the Champions League when you don't deserve it. That makes the fans go crazy. Chelsea fans love that. They love that everyone thinks that they didn't deserve that Champions League because guess what? They still got it.
Yeah. Yeah. But in the next couple weeks, I don't know. I on Saturday, I think Newcastle's the hot team. I think they're going to go in. Or Newcastle's home. I think Liverpool's going to have a really tough time with them.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they're hitting a hot streak right now.
You think they're coming off that high?
Yeah, I think they're going to start firing.
You don't think Liverpool has also playing a team that's been in a rut is not always the best thing because teams that are in a rut are bound to get out of it. Do you want to be the team that's the stepping stone? Liverpool is a better team than Newcastle. That's not an argument. That's a fact.
Oh, absolutely. But I think on the day, with the way they've been performing, I think the identity that Newcastle has found in this last week, I think moving forward at home, that the Geordie army will be roaring.
I think I hear what you're saying, and I think that there could be something there. But I believe, which to me, what will outweigh it is that Liverpool needs to get a win, and they've pounded by Real Madrid, draw with Hull. Now they won in the Capital One Cup against Shrewsbury in a late winner. Was it Shrewsbury? No,
that was Chelsea.
That was Chelsea.
It was
my apologies. I got the wrong team.
It
Doesn't matter.
was the Capital One Cup.
Doesn't matter. Mario scoring that goal, I think, helps. I think Newcastle's not getting Liverpool where they wanted them. I'm not sure. I can't. I have a tough time ruling them out just because I know if the pieces are clicking, it's going to be good. So I don't know. I can't rule them out. I feel maybe we'll get. We'll be very fortunate if Pardue headbutts Brendan Rodgers right in the shiny teeth.
They're in that condominium.
What else? There's another big match.
The West.
Well, that's not really not a big. I don't think that's Newcastle. Liverpool's a big match.
The
per
West
se.
London derby.
Yeah, that one.
QPR Chelsea actually, I think, is going to be a very good match. Rio Ferdinand suspended. FA suspended him 3 games for an offensive comment to a stranger on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, he said something along the lines of, "I heard they need a new center back to get on the pitch," and then he said, Ferdinand said something about, "Why don't they get your mom? She's all over the field," something like that. 3-game suspension.
Got to watch what you say on Twitter.
Integrity of the game. No, City United, I think, is going to be a very fun match. Is that what you were alluding to?
Yeah. Manchester derby.
Yeah, I like I said, I like the direction United's going in. It's going to be, I don't know what City team. For the same reason you said Liverpool may win.
It'll be in Manchester City as well. It'll be at the Etihad.
Definitely.
So you're going to give me the same kind of argument. Like, is it going to be a City that's licking their wounds and trying to bounce back?
Yeah, Silva's injured.
Is Aguero still out?
He's got a hamstring thing still.
Got a hammy. That guy's got a hammy every other week.
Guy should gotta raise some pigs and
you just get a sandwich with that hammy.
Hammy sandwich.
Sandwich. Wrong tone.
Yeah, Nasri's still 50-50. I don't know if he'll be. They say he might come back. Who knows if he's going to be 100%.
Dzeko has also been not playing to his level, but I think Jovetic is dying to get back on the field.
Yes.
And I think he's a great footballer. So you never know. Did I hear Torre got hurt? Did Torre get hurt today?
I didn't hear that.
No. I got confused. Silva got hurt today.
Silva got hurt today, but Torre played today, and Torre played.
Oh, but Torre's been playing his lights out. But he's been playing every match.
Yeah.
Across the back, I think they added a few pieces. They changed their back four quite a bit, and that kind of worries me. Well, it doesn't worry me per se that Manchester City changes their back four. I think that's good for the league. But I think that the fact that they have a kind of a bit of a revolving door back there, and I don't know if it's. I don't think center backs, because of just the inherent nature of playing center back, require too much rotation. But when you start seeing DeMichelis and Magala, the only company seems to be the only fixture. Zabaleta even gets breathers with Bakr, but the fullbacks I think do require a little bit of rotation.
Yeah, it's a different style of play. They're up
Bakary
and down.
Sanya, and then on the other side it's
Kolarov
and
Zabaleta.
No, I think it's Zabaleta and Bakary Sanya on one side and Kolarov on the other.
Yeah.
Kolarov and why can't I think of their other? I don't know. I can't think of their other. Clichy on the left. There we go.
How could you forget?
There's only 2 Arsenal players now. Only 2 former Arsenal players in that back line. So I don't know. The fact that it keeps changing, though, there's a lot of rotation.
And companies become kind of a liability.
I don't know. I tweeted out like a few weeks back, and I was like, one of the newspapers had said that Company was the best defender in the league, and I said, Company, the best defender in the league? And I got a lot of crap from City fans. And I don't see it. I really don't see Company being this. And I hear the announcers some games, and they're like, "Oh," they drool over him, and I'm like, "Okay, he's a hard worker. I'm not. You can't take that away from the guy's a hard worker. He's on top of the plays, but does that erase the boneheadedness? Because I don't think he's that smart."
I think it's like this association they have because when he comes up for a tackle, he's got this giant, long, lumbering stride, and when it hits, it looks like he hits with force.
Is it a longing for the old days? And that's what it is. He's
It's
like a window.
kinda.
He's a window into the past. A big towering center back that's bone crunching and
Yep.
and hard working, hard nosed. Doesn't
Grinder.
talk a lot. Doesn't talk a lot. Doesn't
Big head. It's massive.
Massive noggin.
Big Belgian block.
Oh man.
But I'm excited for this derby.
What's your prediction for this?
It's going to be 2-1 either one way or the other. I don't know which way.
That's not ambiguous at all.
I don't think it's going to be. I can't pick either side. The only reason I'm giving it to City is to be home, but who knows how many seats will be filled. I think that's going to be the factor.
No, against United. Against United, we've packed.
Champions League night, it wasn't.
It's a working class town. It's the middle of the week. It's hard.
Not hard for United fans. Champions League night.
They're not working class fans.
True.
United tickets are much more expensive. It's a fact. It's just a fact. It's what it is.
Yeah, I can't pick.
It's hard to pick this one. It's hard to pick this one, especially
as a fan. Obviously United, but being subjective.
It's hard to pick, especially from the context of which direction each team is going in. Because are they they're almost kind of potentially passing each other,
Crossing on the 8.
and it's like, is this a crossroads where they continue in the trajectory that they're in, or this is a turning point where City recovers, does well against United, morally boosts them, so on and so forth, and vice versa. This puts United into a second gear, going even further up the table.
Yep.
I think that we're going to see a draw. I think United's firepower. They get Falcone back, I believe, so you won't see Juan Mata up front.
Is Rooney back this week?
Rooney was back also because it was a suspension. It wasn't an injury. Mm-hmm. So you'll see Rooney.
Do you think they'll give RVP a rest?
No, I think he's their best weapon. They can't. Not yet. Give him a rest next week. I don't know who you guys got next week, but give him a rest next week.
I bet he'll get subbed off in the 60th if they can't make anything happen. They'll put Falcao up front and they'll drop Rooney back.
Something. It's possible. This is a tough one.
I hope Herrera plays.
Oh, Herrera plays. That makes a difference. I think he's better than Fellaini. I think also a big determining factor will be how Dzeko plays in the first 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. If Dzeko was on his game in the first 20 minutes, this Manchester City could probably get a couple goals in and ride it out. We'll see. But he hasn't been at that level.
He's their number one weapon because the back line isn't. He can go between them, and with crosses coming in off his head, I could see James Milner getting subbed in and doing something like that.
He's another hard worker.
But yeah, that's those are the big games. That's what I got. What are you thinking?
Let's not drag this crap out any longer. We're done.
Yeah, that's it.
We're done.
Sorry, you don't have to listen to us anymore.
Yeah.
Follow us on the Twitter. I'm at Soccer Yank Dave.
And I'm at Soccer Yank Dan. For all things Soccer Yank related, go to socceryanks.com. You may have noticed if you have subscribed to our podcast on iTunes or on Stitcher or on Spreaker or on one of the many other ways you can find us, that aside from the original Soccer Yank podcast, this one that you're listening to, you also get in your feed Homegrown and Carefree Blues, which is a Chelsea podcast, but from our great friends. Don't hate them if you're not a Chelsea fan. From our great friends Kyle and Amity. Homegrown is hosted by myself, but is really the brainchild of Rescinded Red, which is my good friend Jay. He writes for us all the time. So we've got a podcast collective kind of starting here. I'm working on maybe making some other feeds. So if you don't want to get those other podcasts in your feed, you can subscribe to just this one or that one. But it's not in the works yet, so if you don't like listening to them, just delete them. But you should try, because you might like them. If you're not a Chelsea fan, you probably won't like Carefree Blues, though. That's the honest truth.
You should give them a listen to see how they think.
Yeah. It's like visiting the zoo. You want to see how the other side lives.
It's really, really entertaining when they lick the glass. No,
No, they did not do that at all.
Don't do that.
Actually, this week they gave a very riveting riveting criticism of Chelsea. It wasn't full blown riveting, but they were a little critical of some things. So it was nice to hear. It wasn't all peaches and cream. Dave's still like, yeah, we should have won that game. All right, folks. Oh, also, sorry, the housekeeping. We're on Instagram now, Soccer Yanks, putting out some reposting some photos, putting some stuff out there that you may or may not like. Also on Tumblr, again, finding some good content, sharing, curating to the world, and Twitter's Soccer Yanks.
#.
Soccer Yanks. Peace.
Have a good one.